Democrats don't want to look at it because it's their president. I'm a member of a group of Republicans that went to our speaker and said, you know what, appoint a special select committee with subpoena powers, and you guys go find out what's going on. Speaker said, I don't want to do that. Yeah, the House Intelligence Committee, well, you don't want to do that. President definitely doesn't want to do that. Secretary of State, whatever her name was, she doesn't want to do that. I always said, if they don't want to tell you what's going on, then probably what they haven't told you, probably a lot worse than you might. Could be wrong. I could be wrong, but explain to me what we don't know. I can't answer your question. I don't know. They won't tell me. They won't tell me. DHS, one last thing. With 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition. What's that for? I don't know. Do I trust this administration? Absolutely no. Do I trust them to buy 1.6 billion rounds for target practice? Probably not. That's supposedly what it's for. But I asked them 3 weeks ago, all of my colleagues and I sent a letter over there, and we're still waiting for an answer. Again, that would suggest that the answer might be worse than what the answer is. So I don't know the answer today. We're garaging numerous other places and just trying to get the answer to that. And that's the thing that frustrates me so much in Washington, is that when you ask basic questions, you deserve basic answers. I'm asking you to have. They don't want to answer the questions. And this just didn't start this president. This is a whole town made up of people that decided generally you should know. One last story, and then I'll take some questions. Back on Libya. Remember, we actually went into Libya? Remember that? And we overthrew a dictator, and we can argue about that all day, but we actually put our men and women, our brave soldiers at risk in Libya to get rid of the dictator, the colonel himself, and I was at a launching truck race with my son, Ethan. Was that 2 years ago? I guess that happened. That was the first year. And we would get up, as we do in Kansas, get up and we said the Pledge of Allegiance, and then go tell the ACLU they said a prayer in the public arena. And in that prayer, they prayed for our men and women that were engaged in hostilities in Libya. And I'm looking around and saying, I hope nobody asked me about that, because I didn't know about it. What do you mean, you'll skip? Your job is to know about it. I didn't know about it. I didn't watch CNN that day. I don't watch CNN. I didn't catch the news. The point is, engaged in hostilities, the Constitution is very clear that it's a responsibility of Congress. Now, if we're threatened, I understand we had to defend our country. I'm trying to decide what we were defending in Libya. We obviously couldn't defend our embassy, but this was before that. And so I said, that's a Friday. I said, well, nobody asked me about it. So nobody asked over the weekend. I got there on Monday. I said, I want to know the answers. Call the Department of Defense. Call them up. I said, what happened? And they said, well, they basically said, you don't need to know. What was their answer? That's okay. We'll ask them a bigger question. Where else are we engaged in hostilities around the world? Folks, as a member of Congress, I signed a card that indicates that because as a member of Congress, I have access to classified military intelligence, and that if I would violate that trust and confidence, very bad things would happen to me. I signed that card. But I'll tell you, they haven't told me a single thing that's classified matter, because they don't want Congress to know. And I said, okay, gosh, everybody's going to be mad. And the whole Congress, because they did this, the president did this without permission. Well, I'll just say a strong bipartisan majority said, we don't care. And that's when I got to know Rand Paul a little bit. Everybody know Rand Paul? How about Rand? There's a small group of us who meet about once every 3 or 4 weeks for breakfast, and we call it our Liberty Caucus. We have some Senate meeting, and it's pretty neat to see the folks in there that are stepping up and getting stepped on. But it's a pleasure to be with them there. But the point being is, sometimes when everybody agrees in Washington, that means you need to ask more questions. And that's part of my job, is to ask questions, and we'll keep fighting for those answers. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. I guess I'd like to answer a few questions, if I might, the questions we can take here tonight.
Congressman Steve Stockman from Texas has introduced a bill called Restore the Constitution Act. Are you familiar with it and its purpose? And if I may say so, its whole purpose is to stop the president from writing laws with the executive order and bypassing Congress's ability and responsibility to make all the laws. And I wonder if you could comment about Representative Stockman's bill.
I appreciate that. I am not familiar with the bill. I'm familiar with Steve, and he's a great re-addition to Congress. He served a couple years ago in 95 and 96, and I say he's very great, very just so we'll take a look at that. But let's be clear here, with the current setup in the House and the Senate, very little is going to pass. And the real way, the best way to take on administration, the only way we really have left is through something called the budget process. If you want to defund, you want to stop Obamacare, we're never going to get him to sign the bill. We've got to take away his money. If you want to stop the czars, which was my first amendment I offered in the U.S. House, it's very rare for a freshman to offer an amendment, and a successful one at that. We're able to take some money away from those czars. We basically said, if you'd like to be the czar of global warming, that's fine, but you're not going to get paid. Nobody really wants to be in that position. So we were able to take away 4 of the funding positions, defund 4 of those. I'm not trying to make light of that. We'll look at the bill. But again, this is where we have to stand up and fight on the budget process. So when they tell you to compromise, okay, let's agree to disagree, and spend $1 trillion more than we're taking in, we have to fight on various provisions that are in the budget. You know, if we want to stop an EPA that's out of control on certain levels, if we want to stop the listing of the prairie chicken, you don't tell you can live in the face, but they don't listen to you try to take the money away. Yeah, we'll take a look at it, and that's exactly what we've done on that. So I'll visit with Steve when I return next week about it. Thank you.
What about North Korea?
Question about North Korea, and didn't know as much as I did. I mean, much of the focus has been much more on Iran and versus North Korea. In my opinion, the policy of this administration is clearly the apology tour didn't work out so well. Remember, the president, as soon as he was elected, 9 years ago, went around apologizing to everybody, and it didn't work out so well. And I actually think Iran today is a bigger threat than North Korea, given how close they are, where they are, and what they are about. North Korea is run by madmen, and so is Iran. Iran has a lot more runaround, and they have a lot more resources in the right where they can create absolute chaos. And I'll just say, I consider myself a friend of Israel, and if we don't defend Israel, at the end of the day, they will defend themselves. And they've shown absolute capacity to do so.
Congressman, in my family, we don't just like you, we love you. You mentioned a Bible verse. It goes like this. It says, the borrower is servant to the lender. I want to follow up on that just a second. In the old days, when you went to the bank and you made a purchase, the banker would ask you for a thing called collateral. And that was in exchange if you didn't pay your debt, the bank came and got whatever it was that you promised. What would happen, and this is a speculative question, what would happen, has anybody ever given thought to what would happen if China wishes to trade debt for equity?
That's an interesting question. One thing to note, what has changed slightly in the last quarter is that Japan has now surged to as their #1 competitor, and China has fallen back. There's some suggestion that China's decided maybe we're not the best creditors as they thought probably were 5 years ago. And don't forget, the last time Washington did do the right thing on the debt deal was August 2011. On August 1st, they raised the debt ceiling $2.1 trillion. In exchange, they talked about some cuts way off in the distance, which was sequester. They all agreed to, nobody agreed to it, just an absolute disaster, except they finally cut something out of the budget. But after that debt ceiling deal was approved, stock market on Friday afternoon, S&P downgraded our credit rating. That's what worries me. I said a long time before that, I said during and afterwards, the real issue is not a default, it's a downgrade. We're not AAA credit rated by S&P. Fitch's and Moody's have warned us as well in the last 6 months. They're going to watch what happens this summer. And I just raise that question because in the next 5 years as well, all the $16.7 trillion has to be re-upped. None of it's in longer than a 5-year term. Now, who has a CD or something close to that stone bank? What are you getting in return on that? We have record low interest rates. Record low. What will happen, Mr. Bernanke and Mr. President, if interest rates went up to historical levels? Literally in 2 years, we could double the interest we're paying. Is that quick? That's coming due. And so the best thing we have going for us right now in terms of our ability to borrow and spend, obviously, is that the EU is